Hey guys, I'm going to show you today a simple web demo on how to create your care map using Popplet. I strongly suggest this to use your care map from here throughout nursing school. It's the simplest way, the easiest way. It's much less messier. You can color code things, and it just flows a lot easier. So you go to popplet.com. It's free. You go to sign up for free. I'm just going to log in since I already have one. You have to have Flash Player installed on your browser. You see I already have one here that I've been working on, but I'm going to start a new Popplet. I'm going to call this Care Map, and I like blue, so we'll make it blue. And so you'll see it'll pop up Popplet Care Map. So the first thing you do, all you really have to do is double click to start. So if you look at the paper version, there's in the big bold box in the middle, it says primary medical diagnosis. Right above that, there are two other boxes. Admission symptoms and then diagnostic labs. So I suggest starting with the admission symptoms. So that's what we're going to do. So you'll double click in the center. And so what will happen is your first box will come up. And you see the default is to have this annotation with whoever the user is. I want you to get rid of that. So go to view and go to hide name tags. So that takes that away. I'm going to make this red simply because it's the first box. It's why they came in. So we'll say admission symptoms and assessment. So this person, we'll say they came in with a persistent cough that they claim that they've had for years. They have asthma, they have seasonal allergies, and a 3-pack day smoking history. So they came in because this cough has just gotten a lot worse. So the box down here allows you to move this back and forth. So we'll size that so it looks good. And then you simply drag one of these little gray dots into the next one. And so we'll build the next one. You can see it pops the same color as the one before. So we will go into diagnostic labs. As you can see, guys, it's really simple. And related radiologic studies. We'll say that in the EU they did O2 and he was 88% on room air. They did a chest x-ray. I want you to tell me what that said. They might have did an ABG. I want you to tell me what the gas was. We'll just say he was acidotic. They did a sputum culture. I want you to tell me if that grew back any viral or bacteria. And we'll say that's it for now. So that's all the related studies related to his symptoms. So from there, we'll click on this one and build a new box. And this was the big bold box in the middle. So let's go ahead and make it black. So this is your bold box. So we'll call this your primary medical diagnosis. So this person came in with all these symptoms, and the MDs diagnosed them with COPD, secondary to, and we'll just say it's really all the admission symptoms in this case, but we'll say secondary to smoking. Okay, so what focused assessment data do you want to have from this? So we'll say focus assessment. And don't worry about how this box looks right now. You can always move it around. We'll bring it down a little bit. So focused assessment. What are some things we want to look at? Well, of course, we'll start a respiratory exam. So I want to know inspection, auscultation, palpation. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? What does it sound like? A repeat ABG, maybe you want to trend that. Tell me what's that been looking like. Any PFTs, maybe. What's their forced expiratory volume, residual volume, total lung capacity, those kind of things. Any stressors that may have triggered this. What are the allergies that they have? Any other triggers? Maybe a bronch. If they did that, we'll just leave it at bronch. And maybe a VQ scan, a perfusion scan. Maybe they have some PEs and we don't even know it, and that's part of the increased work of breathing that they came in with. So we have this here. So you can zoom in and out here. I'm using the wheel on my mouse. So you have your admission symptoms, your labs, and then your primary medical diagnosis. So from here, you're going to branch out. So you just grab the gray dot, pull on over, and you're going to start off with your primary physiologic diagnosis. Remember, I want you to have 4 physiologic diagnoses. I'm going to make this box blue because I like blue. It's one of my favorite colors. And I want you to prioritize your physiologic diagnosis when you write these. So we'll say physiologic diagnosis number 1. And this one we will say it's ineffective breathing. Alright, so your diagnosis should be a nursing diagnosis. I want to make that very clear. So all this is basically doing is taking those old, long, old school nursing diagnoses and making it in a kind of flowchart workable form. So it's ineffective breathing. Traditionally, you'd write related to. So it's the same thing as your rationale. So what do you see? And what is your, this is where your physiology and your patho come in. So we'll say a decreased pulmonary recoil, and talk to me about that, the physiology behind that. Hyperinflation, if they're barrel chest, tell me about that. Narrowing of airways. So here I just want you to explain to me what's going on, and then how do you know? So as evidenced by is the old school way of saying it. They want you to say supporting data. So you'll say, this is where you'll actually say, maybe they have a barrel chest. Maybe they're clubbing. Maybe your O2 sats on cannula is still only 90%. There are tons of stuff you can put in here. So I want you to put any supporting data that you see, objective and subjective there. From there, go ahead and branch out into your nursing interventions. So these are all the things that you will do that's directly related to ineffective breathing during your shift that this patient is going to need. Oh, disappeared. There it is. So we will say we're going to get this person out. So we're going to ambulate them. We're going to do incentive spirometry. We're going to make sure that we are in semi-Fowlers. We're going to make sure that we have oxygen. The simple things. All of the things that are in your textbooks. So you'll do your interventions here. I spelled that wrong. Interventions here. And as you can see, as you pull boxes from this one, they branch off in the same color. So we'll pop out the next one, which is going to be meds. Or labs, whatever you want to do next. I'm going to go ahead and type in meds. Let's just say, I'm just going to type in some classes of meds. So we'll say some beta agonists. We'll say maybe a steroid, mucolytic. And I want you to give me exact names that this patient is on when you're doing this. An expectorant, maybe a mucolytic. Anything that's going to help with this ineffective breathing. So we'll do your medications over here. And then any labs that we're going to follow. So we definitely, of course, O2 sats are considered labs. So we'll do monitor that. We'll do repeat ABGs. We're definitely going to follow any PFTs. Those are big for ineffective breathing. Those are really going to be your big ones. Chest x-ray, of course. So we'll type those things in here. So as you can see, it's really simple. I like Popplet because it allows you to do really quick kind of boxes and webs. The next one, so you'll just pull from here with your next physiologic diagnosis. I'm going to make this one green, so everything after this will pop green. Go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. And remember, I want these prioritized, so we'll say physiologic problem number 2. And for this case, we'll say ineffective gas exchange, because that's always fun. We'll say ineffective gas exchange, your rationale, so related to, we'll say, and this is, like I said, your physiology, we'll say hypertrophy of the lung cells, and explain to me how that works. Increased sputum production, etc. And you'll explain the patho behind all of those to me. And then, as evidenced by, supporting data, you can say cyanosis if you see any, nail bed clubbing if you see any of that. Again, barrel chest will come in with this. You can say persistent cough. You can say dyspnea on exertion, hypopnea. I mean, tons of stuff that you can put in here that matches that ineffective gas exchange. And then from here, you will go into the same things as before. So let's start with interventions. What are you going to do? You go in and tell me all of those things related specifically to ineffective gas exchange. We will do one for meds. Tell me all the meds that they're on specifically for that. And then we will talk about labs, so any labs that you're going to train that's directly related to ineffective gas exchange. One thing I want you to note, another reason why I really like Popplet, so if you kind of zoom out, you can see that you got your first, second. Over here I want you to go third, fourth, and then at the bottom, fifth, I'm sorry, not fifth and sixth, but psychosocial 1, psychosocial 1, psychosocial 2, and whatnot. And then of course you'd web them all together so they looked good and whatnot. If I can make it work, yeah. So you just tack them all together. But one cool thing I do like about this is that, so if you have meds over here, say you're writing the class, actually, let me zoom in real quick. I'm gonna X out of this box. If you have meds, yes, if you have meds over here, say you have albuterol and steroids, and then you finish and you see you have steroids here and you have steroids here, do me a favor, delete steroids here and pull out a box. Write steroids and drag it over here by these meds. That way I can see that you have made the connection that these steroids are not only being used for ineffective breathing, but they're also being used for ineffective gas exchange. And I want you to do that with labs. I want you to do that with interventions. So basically when you're done, this should look like one big tangled web of everything connecting each other. And like I said, make sure that you just have every set a different color before you start weaving webs all around and making things connect to one another. So that's the biggest thing. If you guys have any questions, feel free, shoot me a Facebook, hit me up on Twitter, shoot me an email if you want, text me if it's within the hours that are listed in your syllabus. Other than that, guys, this really, it's gonna help you if you utilize Popplet to its fullest capabilities. It's really gonna help you understand how all of these things are connected. And how they work for your patient. It's also going to help you prioritize what you're doing and why you're doing it in a clinical environment. From this, when you're done, don't forget the night of clinical, so Thursdays by midnight, so by 23:59, I expect you to have an evaluation done of your physiologic diagnoses number 1 and number 2. So what you would do is you would go, and it's in your clinical information packet that you have. It's the page right after the paper version of this care map. You would evaluate the nursing diagnosis that you chose, and then you would go and evaluate your interventions, what you said you were going to do versus what you did, and if it worked, why, and those types of things. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, this is Popplet. It's really easy. When you're done, go ahead and hit this little spool right here, save this, so it'll save directly to your Popplet desktop, and then go to export, and then you'll export this as a PDF, and then it'll come up with a save thing, and you'll just save it to your desktop, to your floppy drive, listen to me, to your USB drive. I'll just save mine to my desktop as care map. Yes, I'm just going to replace it because I already have one called that. Attach it in the email and shoot it on over to me. That's it, guys. That's how you make your Popplet.